Hi, welcome back everyone. I really like playing lazy builds, especially Autobomber types. I think that I have tried almost every Autobomber build that is out there. This league GGG introduced new body armor bases and some interesting enchants. So I was thinking, is there a way to combine those two and create something cool? Usually Autobombers are complete glass cannon builds, but this time I decided to create Immortal Autobomber. Let's get started. The key item in this build is Replica Maloney's Quiver. It will trigger socketed bow attack with some cooldown when we use a skill. And it's not mandatory that this skill is an active gem. It will work even with aura skills. So the main interaction of the build is to cast some skill, trigger bow attacks in the Quiver, and then trigger other bow attacks linked with the Manaforged arrows. I chose to use Automation skill for triggering the attack because of the two reasons. First, the main one, which is kinda not well known, and it will allow us to play this build as an Autobomber. There is a technique called numlocking. I don't know if it's considered as an exploit or no, but you can automate some instant skills in PoE. To achieve this automation, you need to bind your instant skill to the button on your numpad, hold that button while numlock is active, and then disable it. Now you can stop holding the key and the game will continue thinking that you are pressing it. It will reset when you change the instant. The second reason why I chose automation is that it has initial 0.6 seconds of cooldown. Maloney's Quiver have 1 second cooldown and Manaforged arrows have 0.5 seconds. So to trigger Manaforged effectively, we need to have 2 skills socketed in the Quiver. Using CDR on the boots from the like clockwork passives and also from one abuse jewel, in total we can achieve 52% of CDR, which will result in 0.39 seconds cooldown of automation, 0.33 seconds of Manaforged, and 0.66 on the Maloney's Quiver. All of this combined will allow us to trigger Manaforged setup at each cast of the automation, resulting in around 3 triggers per second. There are 2 main ways of triggering Manaforged effectively, either using life tap or reducing mana cost to 0. And since I decided to create tanky build, I chose the second one. This way comes with the several downsides. After GGG removed Flask mana cost enchant, it became pretty hard to reduce mana cost of skill to 0. So the easiest way of achieving 0 mana cost is simply not linking skill gem with any support. But as a guest, without the links, it is pretty hard to get good level of damage. Okay, while I'm on this topic, let's talk about the defenses and damage. For the defenses, I decided to choose in-stacking route, because as you all know, this is the easiest way of getting near immortality in PoE. Also, you can use cool enchant on the bow, which will give us 5% of your maximum energy shield as a cold damage. So let's quickly go over the gear. For the bow, I'm using spine bow with the lightning damage per inch synthesized implicit. This bow is pretty straightforward to craft. First, you spam either Hatred or Wrath essences until you get T1 flat damage. Then you need to have 1 open prefix and 1 open suffix. Craft prefixes cannot be changed and use Veiled Orb and hope to get Veiled prefix. Then unveil Elemental Penetration, the chances are pretty high. Next, lock prefixes and Scour. Then lock prefixes again, use Harvest Aug attack, and repeat those steps until you get +1 to additional arrows. Next, since all of the mods have attack tag, you can craft cannot roll attack modifiers and Exalt Slam for T1 crit mode. Then finish the craft with crit chance and attribute. The helmet is a Lich's helmet with int, reservation efficiency and a lot of ES. Since this is an in-stacking league, you can get some items pretty cheap. I bought this helm for 3 div. Next, Amulet with increased int implicit. You can craft it spamming essences of Spite, do it until you get T1 attributes with an open suffix. Then lock suffixes and reforge crit, and hope to get crit mode. Then lock suffixes again and reforge defense and hope to get ES. I spent 2 div for a base, 1 div for essences, and got this one. The ring follows kinda the same step. Buy int base, spam critical essences until T1 int, then lock suffixes and reforge defense, or Exalt Slam. For the gloves, I bought Warlock base with some int, resistance, and a lot of ES. I bought this pair for 5 div. For the boots, you should buy Warlock base with Crusader influence, then spam in essences until you get T1 cooldown recovery with an open suffix. Then craft Aspect of the Crab, lock suffixes, and reforge Fizz for guaranteed Fizz taken mod. Then use Orb of Dominance and Pray to elevate the cooldown mode. Then lock suffixes again and reforge diff. For the belt, I'm using Mage Blood for the quality of life. Now let's go to the tree. This is generic in-stacking tree with some bold passives. I don't have anything expensive right now except the Light of the Meaning Jewel. This is pretty expensive item, but it gives a lot. You can swap it from ES to +2 to all attribute. For the auras, I'm using Grace, Arctic Armor, Discipline, Clarity, and Flesh and Stone. Immortal Call, custom damage taking setup, and automation with detonate mine. When it comes to the skills in the quiver, I'm using Burning Arrow and Puncture, linked to the GMP. The reason why is that we need to have 0 mana cost on Manaforged setup, but in order to trigger it, we still need to spend mana on a bow skill. Burning Arrow and Puncture have highest mana cost of 15 from the bow skills, not counting the ballistas and blink arrows. For the other skills, I'm using the ones with 10 mana cost or leave the skill not at maximum. So I have 3 Manaforged setups, one is for frenzy generation, one is for power generation and the other for the main damage. This is it when it comes to the build. The total cost of this build is around 150 divine without the Light of the Meaning Juice. As you probably noticed from the showcases, the damage is extremely low. I'm thinking of the ways of improving the damage. If I invest more into the gear and get usual high-end in-stacking gear, I should get double or triple this damage. But well, this damage is still laughable with this level of investment. So I'm thinking of swapping into Hierophant for easier mana management or to drop CI and go left up. This will increase the damage by quite a lot, but will reduce the survivability. Well, this is it guys. Right now, the build is pretty much immortal, you can run any mods on any map. The biggest downside right now is obviously the damage. It's alright for mapping, you can do some bosses, but it's definitely not enough. If you have any suggestions of how I can improve the build, feel free to post them in the comments below. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!